So, the last day of Legal Week, and what better way than for you and I to chat? And for those who don't know Mr. Austin here, he is the hardest working man at eDiscovery, according to Craig Ball, and I think everybody else in the industry. I don't want to talk specifics so much. I want to kind of go big picture.
Sure.
My philosophy is fairly simple. I think, we had AI hype for several years, and all of a sudden somebody said, oh my God, this stuff's going to stick.
Right.
And now people are trying to make it as business as usual. Everybody's incorporating it into every single platform imaginable. You and I have seen some success stories. We've seen some failures. Let's take a big picture look. What do you think right now are going to be the challenges? I've heard two themes: adoption and AI literacy or ability. What do you think?
Yeah, because one of the challenges with the second one is a lot of people think they know AI or know about AI, and they're just scratching the surface. And I think that's one of the challenges. Until you actually start using the technology for the things we're trying to use it for in legal, I don't think that you really have that level of AI literacy. And so then it's just a lot of bright, shiny objects here at the show, not really understanding how this can apply to you. And I think we're just starting to take that turn where it's not hype anymore, and we're starting to see more people use it regularly.
Yeah, that article you wrote an article yesterday or today about the FTI relativity study.
Right.
And that was about adoption?
Correct. Yeah, and they're adopting it for a variety of different things. And one of the things, of course, I've seen in the State of Industry report that I do every year in the past couple of years is that people are using it for a lot of different things, and they definitely expect it to be transformative really soon. But they're not using it on a wide number of cases yet. It's only like 17.7% are using it in all or most of their cases, which doesn't really seem that transformative yet. So I think people are getting past the point where they're kicking the tires and they're starting to feel like they've got their comfort level on their workflows, and that's where I would expect to see a big jump this coming year of a lot more real world use of the technology in a lot of different ways.
In this event this week, have you tried to focus on anything in particular? I mean, you have such a wide bandwidth of stuff that you cover in the eDiscovery frame. But have you said, okay, this is important, and I'll ignore this?
You can't not cover AI because it's all over the place. But from my standpoint, from an eDiscovery standpoint, we don't talk enough about other challenges in eDiscovery, like the modern data challenge of all the different data sources that we have to address in eDiscovery today. So that's one of the things that I'd like to ask people, because it's AI, but is it AI on the traditional data sources, or can you actually apply it to short message formats and even AI-generated content, which I think is going to be perhaps one of the biggest sources of ESI that we're going to be addressing, in the future. And I think that's one of the things that I'd love to see more discussion about.
Have you been able this week to drop in on any of the sessions that they've had?
I have. There was a really good deepfakes session yesterday. Some great people.
Laura Grossman,
David Horrigan, Jerry Bowie. It's really interesting. And one of the things I think, Jerry obviously is a forensics guy. The underlying data associated with this evidence is in terms of the metadata and things of that nature, I think is going to become much more critical. And obviously I think there may ultimately be some rules changes associated with evidence as well, because you have the deepfake defense where you'll claim some evidence against you as a deepfake and when it's not. So that was one in particular I was really impressed with. I'm trying to think of others. On a Thursday you're a little brain dead.
I think
I'm also the state of the industry that that ALM does every Thursday morning, where they basically go through, some of their survey results, is always fascinating, and again illustrates, kind of where you are. I think one of the notable stats was basically 19% of respondents said they expect to adjust their billing models for AI. That's a pretty low number, and 72% either don't expect to or are unsure whether they will ever adjust their billing models.
Yeah, it was interesting because this morning we posted an article, a story that one of my reporters found, which is one of the biggest complaints they have is that associates aren't being trained properly in AI. And one associate said the problem is that the billing model of law firms indicates they really don't want to spend the money.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's it, right? Because you're. I mean the mentality is got to have those billable hours in. You don't. And that's been a lifelong. I mean, for any technology, has always been a challenge. I think you know one of the things they did really good today is use a couple examples of Apple and Netflix of how they basically almost cannibalize their business to move off in a new direction. And I think law firms have to do that too. I think they have to take the time and make those adjustments, and the smart ones will do that.
I know you have a plane to catch. It's been one hell of a week, but I really appreciate you taking the time to chat.
Thanks, Greg. Yes, my watch and phone have never been prouder of me with all the steps I've taken this week. So I will get to actually relax and rest for a little bit.
Great. Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.